Rosemont, Illinois for the final day of week 1 of this Athletes Unlimited Championship season. The theme is softball is home. The fans have come out in numbers to celebrate this 5th ever championship season. Our final doubleheader of week 1 faces off with Team Svekis and Team Romero in the first of 2 today. Here's what Athletes Unlimited is. If you haven't been with us before, 60 of the world's best players. We'll have new captains by the end of the day. That week 2 draft is tomorrow. Everybody trying to move up the leaderboard thanks to our innovative scoring system. We'll tell you all about it as we go along. Alongside the 2-time All-American Amanda Scarborough, I'm Chucky Kempf. Week 1's been a lot of fun. What stands out to you?
Yeah, well, nothing beats the energy and just the emotions of opening day and opening weekend through the fans and all the players. And we've seen some really good play in opening weekend, but the games have been so close that they've come down to just one swing. And not only just one swing, but a home run swing in 3 of the 4 first games that we've had. It was Kelsey Harshman and a 1-0 win in the 6th inning that put her team on top. And then the same day, later that day, it was Claire Davidson, the rookie, going the opposite way over the left field wall, a 2-run shot. That home run gave her team the lead. They would go on to win. And then yesterday, Amanda Lorenz, a 2-run home run and a 2-1 win. That bomb gave the team the win. So in 3 of the first 4 games that we've had, it's been one pitch that has been the difference and won the game for the teams.
Well, here's how Team Romero lines up. Both these teams 1-1, so hoping to go with a winning record here in week 1. Claire Davidson slots into the 6th spot. She's 17th on the leaderboard, had that double and home run in her professional debut on Friday. But it is a tall task for them today with Megan Faremo, one of the best in the league in the circle. A lot of players said before the season started they felt like she had a really good chance to win this. 6 feet tall, her 2nd season from Oceanside, California, out of UCLA.
Only gave up the 1 run in her first game on Friday. It looked really sharp. Great start for her. Got to throw with good velocity up in the zone with the rising curve.
5 strikeouts and 5 2/3 against Team Denham on Friday, and that lone run thanks to Kelsey Harshman's home run as she starts off Sydney Romero, the captain, with a strike. It's off the handle, popped up, and grabbed by Gwen Svekis, the captain for her team. There's 1 out. This pitching matchup today, Amanda, this is going to be a lot of fun with Faremo on one side, the rookie Lexi Kilfoyle, who you'll see for Team Romero, had a fantastic debut on Friday. This is going to be really good stuff.
A couple of young pitchers in this league. Megan Faremo just in her 2nd season, Kilfoyle being the rookie.
McClenny swinging first pitch into the stands.
And clearly, Team Romero looking to hit early in the count. Sydney Romero is swinging early. Haley McClenny swinging at the first pitch, being really aggressive against Faremo.
83 degrees, about a 10-mile-per-hour wind. Swirling a little bit here as McClenny sends one into left. Hayward over onto it for out number 2. Let's take a look at Megan Faremo's arsenal.
I'm pitcher Megan Faremo, and my favorite pitch to throw is whatever is working that day, especially if it's a strike.
She'll mix in a changeup, curve, rise, and screw. It just seems like to me the pitch that she seems to lean on the most is her curveball. There's a rise ball up and in right there, but she throws with such good velocity. We'll mix in that off speed, her changeup, just a little bit, but can work on both sides of the plate. More of an upspin pitcher.
Over to second, flipping that 6 pitches in the top of the first for Megan Faremo. Lightning quick, 1, 2, 3. Team Romero set down. Just 6 pitches for Megan Faremo in the top of the first to put up a 0 against Team Romero. Now her team coming to the plate in the bottom half, looking to capture the first inning win points of the day. For Gwen Svekis, she sends this lineup to the plate. Victoria Hayward, Hannah Flippen, Warren Ortez at the top, but it's Aaliyah Andrews in that 9 spot, her 5th 3-hit game of her Athletes Unlimited career yesterday. She is unget-outable, as you like to say, at the bottom of that order. They will go up against the rookie in Lexi Kilfoyle in her first season out of Land Lakes, Florida. Played her college ball. It started at Alabama, finished at Oklahoma State for 2 years, and put together a really nice outing on opening day with a complete game. 1 run, 4 strikeouts in her first career win.
Going to see her throw a very heavy drop ball. So different look than what you see from Megan Framo on the other side, who's more upspin. Lexi Kilfoyle is known for her drop ball throws with good velocity in the upper 60s and hitting 70 miles an hour. With that drop ball, she is 6'2". So that drop ball is able to start higher in the zone and then just fall off the table because of the height that she stands with.
Sydney Romero picking up that ground ball to retire Hayward.
And she throws a lot of ground ball outs, too, because of that drop ball. This is her AU debut as a rookie. Started off this game and got really comfortable right away. Threw a lot of ground ball outs, pounded the strike zone like she normally does, can work in that changeup, too. Scattered 6 hits, but only gave up that 1 earned run, only walked 1. Throws with really good command, pumps in a lot of strikes, keeps her defense engaged, which is a big part of her game, to use them pitch to contact with those ground balls.
Those 6 hits, all singles the other day, to help keep Team Alexander in check. Now facing Hannah Flippen. A 1-1 count for Kilfoyle. Flippen out of Utah, playing second base this week. Will also play some shortstop, you would imagine, this season. That's into left field. Davidson has it. She's been in right for much of this first week. 2 outs.
You know, Chucky, I asked Sydney Romero why she drafted Lexi Kilfoyle as her first pick. I mean, she's a rookie, a little bit unknown, right? Like, it was unusual that Sydney Romero would pick a rookie for her first pitch, so I wanted to know why. And she said that she had watched her all year at Oklahoma State and was familiar about how good that she was because of being in the coaching world. Remember, Sydney coaches at Oregon. But also, she said, I watched her win a series against Oklahoma and just how she performed at the World Series. So Sydney Romero had been kind of scouting out Lexi Kilfoyle for a while, very familiar with her coming into the season. And then she got to face her in the scrimmage, too. Was one of the few hitters that got to face Lexi Kilfoyle coming into the season in the scrimmages that they did the weekend before the season started.
Yeah, it's rivals uniting here. A Sooner at shortstop, the captain taking the rookie from Oklahoma State with her first pick, the first pick in the draft. Now jumps ahead of Jessie Warren, trying to match Framo and go 1-2-3 herself, potentially in just 10 pitches.
And I'll add to that, too, is Lexi Kilfoyle just barely misses off the plate there, but Sydney Romero finally added this last line: one of the best pitchers I have faced and know at the professional level already as a rookie. That's high praise from her captain, Sydney Romero.
Right side, and that's going to do it. Nice backhand by Stuart Hunter. 11 pitches for Kilfoyle. 17 total pitches between the two aces here in inning number 1. Athletes Unlimited Pro Softball is sponsored by the U.S. Air Force. Some photos from day 2 of the season. What a start for Taylor McQuillan it's been. She's found herself at the very top of the leaderboard. There's Odyssey Alexander hoping to find herself back at the top by the end of this one after being crowned champion last summer. Already some rollover inning points on the line after zeros in the first. 4, 5, 6 due up for both teams here in the second. Taylor Edwards leading off for Team Romero. Watches ball 1 from Framo. No doubt Edwards knows these pitchers as well as anybody does. You hear a lot of people talk about her prowess behind the plate as a pitch caller. Jumps ahead 2-0 now. Taylor hit a grand slam on the opening day of AUX in Wichita. She finished 13th in that condensed season, her best ever finish. Off the end of the bat a little bit, still hit hard at Ortez, one out.
Yeah, these Team Romero hitters just continuing to be really aggressive in the first strike that Megan Faraimo offers them. 3 of the first 4 hitters who have come up have swung at the first strike. Not saying the first pitch, but swung at the first strike that she's offered them.
Delaney Wiz, see if she's aggressive. Lets that go for strike 1. Wiz 1 for 6 at the plate this weekend so far. It's really good power out of UCLA. New assistant coach at Nevada under Victoria Hayward, who's out in left field right now. Was hired for that job in May. 1-1 inside. And I think they're going to say that one off Wiz. She never moved, so she knew it. Down 1-2 in the count. Delaney, a second-team All-American, played 3 years at UCLA, started at Loyola Marymount. Finished her Bruin career in 2022. Her sister Stevie was on the 2019 UCLA national title team. She's in a nice battle here with another former Bruin, Faraimo. Very back of the batter's box. Left side goes kind of under Warren's glove, and Wiz is going to make it. A rare miscue by Warren over at third. And don't forget, our Sunday night baseball matchup is the series finale at Fenway Park between Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, and the Yankees, going up against Rafael Devers and the Red Sox. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Radio. Coverage at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific with Baseball Tonight's Sunday Night Countdown. And the StatCast edition presented by Google Cloud will be right here on ESPN2. That is an error on Warren. Davidson then goes down first pitch swinging as she lines out to Hayward.
Yeah, if you're Megan Faraimo, you are definitely taking note of how aggressive that all these hitters are being. You can just feel that as a pitcher, that these hitters are looking to hit early in the count. Anytime that you come around the plate, that they're being aggressive on it.
We got the chance to see this matchup last year, but this is such a fun one. Faraimo and Garcia going head-to-head. Garcia, the former National Pitcher of the Year, Freshman of the Year, 4-time All-American. The list goes on. National Championship in 2019, the last team to beat Oklahoma. Megan Faraimo, 2-time Pac-12 Pitcher of the Year. 3-time All-American. Good spot there for strike 2.
And interesting, too, you see how much space that Rachel Garcia gives herself in the box off the inside corner. Some of those hitters like to get up right on top of the plate. She gives herself some space, more off the plate. You see Faraimo go to that outside corner, trying to nibble at it to get her on that pitch. She's in the very back of the box, but also just about a foot or two off the plate.
Ground ball left side. Warren backhands, throws, and bounces over the glove of Klingler. Wiz is going to go. Coming around third, the throw is unable to be handled by Svekis. Tough hop to bring that in. Wiz scores all the way from first on that one.
Jesse Warren being tested in this inning. That was an off-speed pitch that Faraimo offered to Rachel Garcia. She was well in front of it, but it just pulled Jesse Warren so far behind that third base bag. And remember, we're playing on turf, so that was a big hop to Bailey Klingler that she could not pick out of the dirt or out of the turf, and Wiz is going to get in there. Great slide to move around the tag. The ball didn't even make it in the glove. And also want to give a shout out to Alex Leap, who had to hustle his tail off. He was over at first base, saw the play happening in front of him, had to run to get to home plate to make that call.
Popped up, Warren going to make this catch to get out of the inning, but a big run there for Team Romero, and you talked about it early. You just never know how much these runs can mean. The pitchers have been really good this weekend. Team Svekis needs at least one run to roll those inning points over as they've fallen behind Team Romero 1-0 here in the second. Let's listen in to Lexi Kilfoyle on what she can throw.
My name's Lexi Kilfoyle. I'm a pitcher, and my favorite pitch to throw is a changeup because you get to make the hitters look silly in the box when they swing and miss.
And her changeup does make hitters look silly, but it's also her drop ball coming in at 70, 71 miles an hour that helps set up that changeup to be her favorite pitch. Stays more down in the zone, but can go up when she needs to show that look, but more of a drop ball down in the zone pitcher with that change and drop.
See how she starts Anissa Ortez off here with a strike. Ortez 1 for 5 at the plate, a walk and a hit by pitch so far this season. Takes that for strike 2, doesn't love it, but falls behind 0-2 now to Kilfoyle. Ortez from Long Beach, California. She's married to Amanda Chittister, a former pro, Defensive Player of the Year in 2021, and watches 3 pitches for a strikeout, the first for Kilfoyle. Let's go down to Savannah with more on Lexi.
After her pro debut on Friday night, Lexi Kilfoyle said she learned, I just got to stick to who I am as a pitcher, and that is a ground ball pitcher. She felt like she learned to trust this defense, even though this is the first time she's ever played with this group of players. She said, I got to stick to my guns and know what I'm good at. She even said after giving up the sole run of the game in the first inning that I just got to get the runs out first. Usually the first inning is not my best. That's so not been the case today, as we've seen her make quick work, but she has settled in so nicely, not only as a pro in that debut on Friday, seeing her back out today on Sunday, but first innings being her worst one, not the case so far in this game.
Base hit there for another rookie, Charlize Palacios, trying to get things going now for Team Svekis.
And I remember going from the high school level to the college level, and balls would get put in play, and suddenly my teammates who were just so talented, and juniors and seniors, were making these unbelievable plays back behind me. And I would imagine too, going from being a college player to now playing professionally and having even better defenders behind you, the all-stars of all all-stars and Olympians, and just everybody that you have playing behind you, that you feel even more comfortable in the circle because these athletes are making just unbelievable plays back behind you, and it just gives you confidence in the circle to attack the zone.
That's what we've seen from Kilfoyle through 8 1/3 of her professional career. There's another strike to Gwen Svekis to jump ahead 0-2.
But it's just this mentality as a pitcher, Chucky, whenever you see the ball come off the bat, you start to, oh, that's a hit, or oh, that's going to be an out. Like, you instantly know almost, but then you go, some of those plays that you instantly thought were a hit turn into an out because of the talent behind you. So your perception of the ball coming off of the bat and the pitch locations that you're making change because you can see the players making these awesome plays behind you that are saving hits for you.
Play of the year so far was Mackenzie Clark for Team Romero yesterday, going over the fence to grab one in foul territory. Svekis goes down swinging. 2 strikeouts now for Kilfoyle in this inning.
I mean, her vertical break down in the zone with her drop ball is just a ton. Look at that pitch move. Falls off the table, starts above the knees, then ends up well below the knees to Gwen Svekis for the 2nd strikeout in this inning for Kilfoyle.
Now the right fielder, Sis Bates, 2 for 6 at the plate, has driven in a run this weekend. We have not got to see Sis Bates make a defensive play in right field, which has been really disappointing.
We're patiently waiting.
Pitches the 1-0, and that's a strike on the outside corner.
And we're talking about 9-10 inches of vertical break for Kilfoyle. That is a ton of down movement. She has great spin, so that movement goes straight down.
So Spates just missed that pitch. You can see it from up here in the booth even in real time. You don't need the replay to be able to see the type of break she has. One-two to Bates. Got her swinging. 3 strikeouts for Kilfoyle here in the second. Scattered around a single. 10-inning win points for everyone on Team Romero.
What makes a good team, in my opinion, is not only just the ability to play ball, but I would say the chemistry is huge in the connection piece. You can have all the great players on your team, but if you're not connecting or bonding well, I think it makes it a little more difficult.
Good job!
What makes a good captain is, of course, the leadership and being approachable in so many different ways, and just leading the way and allowing others to play free and being exactly who you are, I think, is the biggest key, and not overdoing it.
Sydney Romero, first-time captain, assistant coach at Oregon, helped them back to the postseason, went to the Norman Regional this year under Missy Lombardi, who we got to talk to on opening night. And you just hear Missy Lombardi talking about Sydney and the calming presence that she brings when she was a player at Oklahoma and now as an assistant coach at Oregon.
Remember their team theme that Savannah Collins had given us some insight to was settle for this weekend, which is very fitting when you talk about Sydney Romero and her settling presence that she has on any team, and especially when she is a captain.
Hoping that the 9-hole Kelsey Stewart-Hunter can get aboard for Sydney, who moved herself up to the leadoff spot. She's been in the 2-hole all weekend right in front of her sister Sierra, with Haley McClenny leading off, but her and McClenny switched spots today. So it's Stewart-Hunter, Romero, McClenny, Romero, potentially up for Team Romero this inning with a 1-run lead. And Stewart-Hunter sends it into center field, a base hit, her second of the season.
Shortstop, number 2, Sydney Romero.
A good 2-strike hitting by Kelsey Stewart-Hunter out of the 9th spot to be able to make the most of it. When she got 2 strikes, she took a pitch to get to this 1-2 count. This pitch is more up in the zone, attacks it, but the pitch before she took was a close one to get to that one, which was more of a mistake to get on for the leadoff hitter.
Kelsey Stewart-Hunter, she seems so calm in the box. Everything looks really calm for her. And that just feels like a lot of her hits right now. Just well-placed, solidly hit balls. Had a good AUX in Wichita, where she's from. Now here in the championship season, now a mother of 2. Romero takes that pitch, 1-2 the count now.
See, that's that curveball that Megan Framo just can spin off so well. When I watch her stride foot hit the ground and her release come through, such a tight pitch.
Right at Aaliyah Andrews in center, 1 out. Tuesday night, our summer soccer schedule continues on ESPN and ESPN Plus with this highly anticipated matchup between La Liga perennial power Barcelona and 4-time defending Premier League champs Manchester City. Coverage of this preseason friendly begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific from Camping World Stadium in Orlando. Some really great teams in the States for their preseason tours this summer. Haley McClenny now with 1 out, takes strike 1 on the outside corner.
You know, it's funny, Chucky, when Megan Framo was asked if she's ever been starstruck, what happened? She said that she was starstruck whenever she met Kat Osterman when she was 9 or 10 years old. She said, I remember that interaction very clearly because she was telling me how she threw her drop ball, and she said, and I forgot how to form words. So got a chance to learn from one of the best to ever do it, from Kat Osterman, a former champion in this league.
The first ever, not just softball, but the first ever champion is McClenny. Still has the wheels. A bunt single for McClenny to set the table.
Yeah, good eyes by Haley McClenny to drop this bunt down the third base line, and Megan Framo thought that she had the best chance compared to Jessie Warren, who didn't get there as quickly as Framo did. And Haley McClenny, this might be her last season as she's retiring after this season, but she still's got the wheels to get down the line on a drag bunt.
Sierra Romero now at the plate. Big chance for her. Hard hit, scooped up by Flippin. Ortez to first. Double play. The Flippin Ortez combo.
Yeah, Hannah Flippin in the most perfect position. Look at where she started. This hit is peppered right at her, and then Ortez with the turn, throwing across her body. That was a beautiful double play.
1-0 Team Romero over Team Svekis. That team in purple has the 20-inning win points so far. 10 more on the line here. Team Svekis coming to the plate, trying to get a run or a couple to take the lead in this game in front of another great crowd here on opening weekend for Athletes Unlimited. A lot going on this season. Haley McClenny and Sam Fisher, two longtime veterans that you certainly know in the softball world, calling it quits. They will both retire at the end of the season. But then you've got players like Lexi Kilfoyle in this great rookie class coming on to carry the torch at the professional level. Kilfoyle, through 2 innings, has given up just the 1 single. She struck out 3 batters in the second inning. A 1-0 lead in Lexi Kilfoyle's favor, and you're thinking 1 or 2 more and this thing is over, because she has been that good so far. Won 26 games this year for Oklahoma State with a 1.20 ERA. Struck out 152 in 180 innings. Got some athletic siblings as well. Her brother Darren played college baseball. Her youngest brother Andrew currently plays football for at South Florida. Plays offensive line there.
I thought it was cool to watch the progression of her career. Remember, she started at Alabama and pitched behind Montana Fouts, who was more so the ace on that staff. Kilfoyle did awesome, but I think Fouts would have still been considered the ace, and she was the number 2 and pitched through some injuries, ended up transferring to Oklahoma State, where there's Kelly Maxwell in front of her, so she was the number 2 behind Kelly Maxwell. But then this past season, remember, Kelly Maxwell transferred to Oklahoma, and Lexi Kilfoyle got to become the ace of Oklahoma State, and she just ran with it this past year.
Klingler into right field, and that gets down in front of Jacobson. Bailey Klingler with a base hit here, her second of the season now. The former Washington Husky trying to get going.
But either way, I feel like Lexi Kilfoyle is a pitcher who can thrive in any role on any team, honestly. She is such a great teammate, such a good pitcher mate on the same pitching staff whenever you're with her.
Now facing Aaliyah Andrews, who led off 3 innings yesterday in the 9-hole. Team Svekis scored all 8 of their runs in those innings. Andrews singled and scored in all 3 of them. 8 total runs. Lays down a bunt this time. Wiz got to be quick, and she is. Really nice play by Delaney Wiz over at third. The sacrifice works, though.
Oh my gosh, a sacrifice bunt is just not the same when Aaliyah Andrews is the one putting it down, because it just puts so much pressure on a defense because of her speed. That sacrifice bunt, even though the corners are playing up the line, is still so close at first base, and you have to be perfect to get her out.
Really nicely done by Andrews. It's 10 points for the sacrifice bunt on the leaderboard, and turns it over now to Victoria Hayward in the top of this order. Hayward already has 3 hits on the season. 0 for 1 today with the runner in scoring position. Klingler now hoping to tie this game up. Hayward, shallow left field. Davidson does have this, 2 outs.
I think you kind of noticed too, Chucky, you were talking about the movement that Lexi Kilfoyle has. And I remember Patrick Murphy, the head coach at Alabama, whenever Lexi Kilfoyle was at Alabama, and he was talking about Kilfoyle and what she throws and what he saw recruiting her, that he always said that the ball comes out of her hand kind of like a wiffle ball. And I think that that's what you see. There is so much movement, and it just kind of feels like it moves the entire way in different ways out of her hand to the catcher's glove. I mean, you can see it. And you pair that with the velocity that she throws with, and she's just tough to square up.
A lot easier to see in the stands and in the booth than in the box.
Oh my gosh.
From what we've seen so far.
Yes. Wiffle balls can be hard to hit, you know, especially when it catches some air and it has that late break. I mean, especially with some wind, too.
Ground ball, Kilfoyle has it. Nice throw to first. Fields her position really well on top of just the pitching. Well, zeros for Lexi Kilfoyle through 3. One nothing going to the 4th inning. 20 rollover inning points on the line here. Team Romero and Team Svekis, the first of our doubleheader today. Well, big announcement, of course, earlier this year about the future of professional softball. It's the AUSL, which will launch in 2025. It's a city-based league, but will kind of tour next year. Each team going to play 30 games, 60 total. ESPN will carry a minimum of 18 games, and we have a very special guest with us, the senior advisor of the AUSL, Kim Ng, who's poised to lead Athletes Unlimited into that expansion. Kim, thank you so much for joining us. What is it about this league and Athletes Unlimited that has you excited about the future of softball?
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. Well, I guess first and foremost, I would say the caliber of the talent. I mean, when you think about the players that have been past Olympians and the ones that are here right in front of our eyes that are going to be there for us in 2028, that would be number 1. And you have them all right here in this league. So pretty excited about that for sure.
And Kim, I'm sure you followed, of course, softball for quite a long time. You've been involved in softball and baseball both, but watching from afar before getting involved in it, and you could be as generic or specific as you want to be with this question, but what are some things that you have noticed from watching from afar that you feel like you could take into this league to make it even better than what we've had in the past?
Well, I think, us going to a more traditional format is something that, we haven't had for the last several years. I think that is one thing that everybody is excited about. And, for everybody from fans to athletes and I think, potential sponsors. So really excited about that. Yeah, I think operationally just, I think, making this a really steady, stable situation for the athletes. But I think Athletes Unlimited in general has done a very good job of that. But just really excited to go the traditional format.
Kim, give us a little bit of insight into just the process that you guys are going through right now. It's not just announcing something or building something new, but taking something current, kind of morphing it into a little bit different. What's the process that you're going through right now?
So on what topic? There are so many, but in terms of I'll give you an example in terms of the venues. Right now we're talking to a number of different cities. We're soliciting information from our advisory board. Our committee of advisors, Jess Mendoza, Natasha Watley, Kat Osterman. I've been talking to the PEC some about venues, and really, we've got a group that's working on gathering information about the potential cities that we've targeted, and then really digging in and talking to those, to the officials of those cities, different groups within those cities. So, I mean, there's obviously a lot that's going on behind the scenes in picking these venues.
And Kim, you've had such an amazing career. Assistant GM with the Yankees and the Dodgers, and then GM with the Marlins. And I'm sure there are a lot of aspiring young female athletes who would love to kind of take your same career path. What advice would you give to them as they aspire to have big goals like you've already accomplished?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much advice I have for all these young women. You know, in terms of following in my footsteps with regards to baseball. I mean, baseball has really become so analytically driven. I'd say the more that you code, the more that you understand analytics. That is going to provide you the foundation to get your foot in the door, as well as then move up the ladder. That's what we're seeing more and more of. Just in terms of being able to also get your foot in the door, I think your network and broadening your network, understanding what it takes, understanding how reading everything that you can, fan graphs. There's so much on the internet available. But really making sure you have as much information as you can, talking to different executives when possible. I mean, some of this really involves, it's going to sound funny, but just getting to meet as many people as you can at, say, the winter meetings, the industry meetings, and just camping out in the lobby and getting, 5 minutes with different executives and having a very good clue so that they remember you. It's a long, exhausting process just to get your foot in the door, but I can tell you from experience that it's well worth it once you get there.
Well, Kim, thank you so much for your time. We are really thrilled about the future of the league and glad that you're on board with it.
Thank you so much, y'all.
It's Kim Ng, the senior advisor for the AUSL, which will launch in 2025. I mean, what a great asset for Athletes Unlimited to have her on board.
And she said, y'all. I mean, I like anybody that says the word y'all. So that took me a little bit by surprise, I think, more than anything else that she said in that conversation. But wow, just such an awesome person to have involved with the league moving forward for the next year and prep for everything, getting everything ready before next summer, and then to see it through. It's going to be awesome.
Do you say y'all?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I've heard that.
Yeah, I say y'all. Of course, I'm from Texas. It's the first word I think I said before mom and dad.
Ground ball, flipping, handles it. Going to the bottom half. Team Svekis looking for a run. Y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Y'all stay tuned, you hear?
Our pitchers duel continues. Team Romero on top 1-0 and 20 more inning win points on the line after consecutive zeros in the third and the top of the fourth. Well, Sierra Romero, one of the big stars here at Athletes Unlimited from Murrieta, California, played her college ball at Michigan, maybe the best player in the history of the Big Ten Conference. She's Michigan Hall of Famer. We've got her mic'd up on the field. Sierra, so great to have you back this season. We're excited about it. It's opening week. Your sister's a captain for the first time, and she waits till the third round to select you. What's going on?
I mean, I think Sherry was kind of laughing because she gave me a hard time because when I was captain last year, I waited kind of long to pick Sid, and Sid was kind of texting me like, hey, so you picking me yet? And I'm like, well, not yet. So I definitely told her before she started drafting, I was like, don't feel like you got to get me early. Like, just go based off what you think. But she liked what she saw in the scrimmage. So I was like, okay.
What's it? She liked what she saw in the scrimmage. What's it like to play with Sydney, like in terms of communication, of like how you guys talk about facing Framo, for example? Like, what are the types of things that you guys are talking about?
We typically keep it very simple. What's really nice right now, which is what I feel like our whole dugout is experiencing and we're talking about, is we are all really seeing the ball really, really well, identifying ball and strike really well. So we're all keeping it very simple because we don't want to make it more than what it is. So like today, same thing. We were like, let's not go into the like tiny details of it because it's actually not that deep. It's something small. Like my last couple at bats, I feel like I'm seeing a beach ball up there, but something isn't clicking. So I'm trying to figure out what that is. If my hands are drifting, when they should be reacting. I really don't think it's my foot because I went back to my more explosive like 2-strike approach, but that's the name of the game, unfortunately. You can be seeing the ball perfectly and seeing ball and strike really good, but if one little thing is off, that's what makes softball so fun, but also really frustrating.
How do you scout pitchers throughout the year? Do you keep a notebook or anything? Is it more you've just seen them so much, you rely on teammates as well? How do you do it?
So with more of like the vets or people in their second year at least, we know it. We're throughout the season, we have our notes on them. We have our go-to catchers. Our catchers know all of them. So we can usually just kind of do a little bit of a scout before that. But for those ones, somebody like Kilfoyle, like any of the rookies, I watched film on them before I got here. YouTube is great. Going to their university's page and watching highlights on them. So that's how we'll scout, definitely going back on YouTube, watching anything we can find, and obviously we're watching college softball throughout the year too. So we're keeping an eye on who our competition might be.
Hey, nice play.
Thanks.
I love when that happens. So we're talking to you guys and the ball is actually hit your way. What was your key to making this play?
Honestly, I'm trying to talk to you guys, but making sure my timing is down on my little hop and making sure I'm focused and paying attention. So I would definitely say that I did that just now. I'm really happy I did not just make an error while I was on live. That's great.
What's it like when you're playing on turf? Do you like it more than playing on a dirt infield, or what's your fave?
I like the turf, but I've also been playing on it for so long now that I feel like it's my new norm. So now when I go to dirt, it feels really weird. I don't mind the speed of the turf, just because I can react with my feet, readjust. It's the dirt now that's weird to me. So the dirt is usually what takes some getting used to. So when we go to Little League, we're out there on dirt and everybody's kind of like, whoa, this is weird.
I feel like every time we talk to you or Sydney, we have to get an update on Sophia and Mikey. How are the little siblings doing?
They're great. Mikey is killing it. His swing looks awesome. He's getting ready to get married this year, so that's crazy. But I'm excited for him and Krista, and I'm excited for the wedding. And then Sophia, if you follow Sophia, she's hilarious. She's so funny. She got all the wits in the family. She's so funny, but she's also just such a caring, hard worker. And she's home right now, training and, taking advantage of her off season and taking some rest, but also training and getting ready to go compete at Boise.
There's 2 outs, so this is just one more quick one, and there's 2 strikes now, but one word to describe your sister as a captain this weekend.
Simple.
Perfect.
Yeah, she definitely keeps it simple, which I think a lot of us can appreciate. Oh, dang it.
I wanted that one for you.
Me too.
I think
guys.
the mic fell out on her. And that's going to conclude our interview with Sierra Romero, who is fantastic first live, and I thought she had that.
Me too. Oh, she had such a good beat on it. Just fell past her glove. But thanks, Sierra, for hanging out with us. We're just going to listen in for whatever is left of this inning. We always appreciate you.
If she can hear us. I don't know if she can.
Might not. Maybe she'll go back and scout, the pictures and hear it on the broadcast because she's so locked into film.
You asked the last question, so that's on you. She would have had that.
I'll take it.
Yeah, what a career she's had, and hopefully it's far from over. Had to come back from that knee injury. Made her Athletes Unlimited debut in 2022 in San Diego. She's had some big moments, too. She had some clutch moments that first year, but you remember last year, Victoria Hayward on third base, Romero at the plate at the end of the game in the bottom of an inning of a tie game. And they went with a squeeze play with Sierra Romero at the plate.
Oh, yeah. I won't ever forget it. Happy that I was calling that one because I got to see it firsthand and feel the surprise and the shock and the awe of that play. That was so cool.
To whiz over at third. She shows off the glove yet again. Another 0 for Lexi Kilfoyle. Big thank you to Sierra Romero for letting us talk to her in game. Absolute stud. Today, Team Romero, Team Svekis kicking things off. Our summer soccer schedule rolls on Wednesday night. 4 more outstanding preseason friendlies. Amanda, I know you're going to be tuned in. It's Liverpool, Arsenal first. That's at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ESPN and ESPN Plus. Then Man United against Real Betis, Club America and Chelsea, and then AC Milan, Real Madrid. That's the big one on ESPN Plus. Big night here in the States of preseason friendlies.
That's a lot of soccer. I know you'll be tuned in. I'll probably be watching the Astros, if I'm being honest, so I'll be watching a different sport, but I know how much that you love soccer and that you will be locked in with different screens watching those games.
I will be.
I know.
I love it.
I meant that seriously.
Can you, if I were to ask you what position you would play in soccer, would that mean anything to you?
Yeah. I'd say forward.
Okay.
Midfield, I feel like you have to run too much, right?
Probably, yeah. You're forward, more of a sprinter, yeah. Midfield, you're up and down all game.
Yeah. I'll be a forward.
Okay.
And then you get to score, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you are going to score.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to score either, but your chances increase of scoring if you're playing that position. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Megan Faremo starting off Caroline Jacobson in an 0-2 hole. Now Warren making a play on a ball at third, 1 out. All right, let's look at the leaderboard for the first time. And we have a little bit of a change because there is someone who isn't wearing an orange jersey in the top 5, and it's Lexi Kilfoyle climbing the board. She could go into 4th as soon as next inning. Those inning win points in this game could put her all the way in 1st.
Big to hang on to this win. Another close game, another pitcher's duel that we're having, except this one isn't being decided by a home run just yet. It's been decided by an error.
Unearned run, an error on Jesse Warren, of all people. That's in a tough spot. Long run for Hayward! What a catch by the vet!
Hayward, the AU original, #1.
She'll take that back to Reno and show her outfielders at Nevada this is how it's done.
Not necessarily the quickest route that she's taken, but the wind is always howling here. It's blowing out and toward left field, and she just kept a beat on it. First couple of steps weren't great, but she picked it up in the middle of that route to lay out, hold on to it, and secure the second out of the inning. Vic Hayward does it again.
She's been a pro since 2015. She's a member of that Canadian national team. Kelsey Harshman, Jen Salling, Danielle Laurie, our friend and colleague in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. They took home bronze. Now her first head coaching gig at Nevada, career .372 hitter. Here at Athletes Unlimited, top 3 in hits all time, the first to reach 100 career hits.
I love seeing all the little kids in the stands. Today is Northwestern Day, but yesterday was Little League Day, and there's still just so many young softball players in the stands to get a chance to watch these athletes in person and see catches like that in person that they can try to mimic at their own practices and games. That's why I love to see these little softball players in the stands, because everything that they see in these games they're going to have in their mind now and in their memory to go out and try to be like these players.
Players so great with the young fans too. A lot of autographs being signed this summer. We see the lines after every game pretty much, it seems.
They're locked in, you know, they're here with their parents or their team or their coaches and just making a day of coming out to the ballpark to see these athletes live.
2-2 inside to Sydney Romero, who's 0 for 2. 2 balls in the air, a pop-up to the catcher Svekis to lead off the game, and a fly out to center field right at Aaliyah Andrews earlier in the 3rd. This one into right field. Sis Bates, that's, I believe, her first action out in the outfield, but she's 1 for 1 out there. She can play defense anywhere.
She can, and she's next to 2 of the best in the business in the outfield with Aaliyah Andrews and then Vic Hayward showing the rest of the Audis how it's done. Vic Hayward laying it out this inning. Lexi Kilfoyle getting the second start of her rookie season, second start of this weekend, and looking good. 4 strikeouts, and look at the pitch location with her drop ball. All 4 of these strikeouts are with drop balls away from the hitters and moving down. Pinpoint location with that drop ball, and since Lexi Kilfoyle has been pitching this weekend in 11 innings, only giving up 9 hits, all 9 of those hits, including the 3 today, just singles, scattering those hits, using her defense, and 1 walk in both of her starts. That's it. No walks today, just 1 walk on Friday. Such great command.
Extremely impressive. Has not been phased at the pro level, and really the most danger she's faced was in her very first inning. Sis Bates, after she makes the catch, that's into right center field. And that's a single. There's been some changes in the field. Mackenzie Clark is now in right. Caroline Jacobson is in left. Davidson has become the DP. There's Mackenzie Clark out in right field. Actually, that is Davidson staying out in left. I apologize.
Defensive changes for Team Romero. Caroline Jacobson went over to left field from right field. 51 Jacobson in
It is Jacobson in left.
It was 24, though, wasn't it? I saw number 24 out there. Yeah, and then she just threw her hands up. I think it's still Davidson.
Okay. It's wrong in stat broadcast then.
We're gonna get to the bottom of this for you. Nice bunt by Klingler, 10 points on the sack bunt.
Yeah, 24, you're right.
It is Claire Davidson. They played together. They play the corner outfield spots. That is Claire Davidson out in left field. We got it.
It's hard to see too because of this pole. I can barely see the left fielder out there.
Come on now, the excuses.
I know. Excuses. How about Aaliyah Andrews on this 13-game hit streak, huh? 13 games with a hit in a row for Aaliyah Andrews, hitting .476 in those games. There we are.
Needs one to keep it going and make it 14. Had a sack bunt back in this 3rd inning. It didn't come to anything. Team Svekis was shut out on night number 1. They scored 8 yesterday. Trying to find the bats again against Kilfoyle. Nice job by Aaliyah Andrews with one of her close friends, Sis Bates, on second base. And ahead in the count 3-0. Four-pitch walk. Kilfoyle couldn't find the outside corner, so now forces at every base. But tons of speed out there for the top of this order. At the very least, it'll be a reached base streak.
Yeah, I feel like that's not the worst thing in the world, honestly, because now you have a force out at 3rd, a force out at 2nd. Take a little pressure off of your defense. That's how I see it. Now, on the other hand, now if you're Team Svekis, you have double the speed on base with Sis Bates at 2nd with speed, and then Andrews at 1st, and speed at the plate with Vic.
Yeah, Gapper in this game is in the favor of Team Svekis for sure. Kilfoyle runs that too far outside to Hayward. 1-1 count. Hayward 0 for 2. Lets that one go, strike 2.
Love a ground ball to the left side if you're Team Romero here, just to be able to get that force out at 3.
Ground ball left side, pretty slow. Romero flips it to Wiz, and come on now, really? You just had to speak that one right into existence, didn't you?
Well, you could see, too, that she was throwing her outside, which Lexi Kilfoyle likes to do anyway. Remember, all of the strikeouts that Kilfoyle has had have been on that outside drop ball. So whether it's to lefties or to righties, so be able to throw outside and feed her defense for that second out.
Last chance is Hannah Flippen. That pitch misses inside to Flippen. She's 1 for 7 at the plate here on the 3rd day of the season. 32nd on the leaderboard, so right at about the midway point. Looking to get it going after she was really good for Team USA in Italy at the WBSC Softball World Cup. Led the way with 7 hits and a .538 average. US took home silver, falling to Japan in the gold medal game. Good spot from Kilfoyle for strike 1. Well, we see Lexi Kilfoyle get drafted 1st overall in back-to-back weeks. Find out tomorrow, the week 2 draft, and now evens the count 2-2.
Is there any way that she could slide into a captain spot?
That's true. She's not going to be drafted, most likely. If they win this game, she will be drafting, which I think is always fun. Like, to see a rookie who maybe hasn't put a ton of thought into that process have less than 24 hours to put together a draft strategy if she were to stay in the top 4. And it'll really depend on what Team Denim does later, but you're talking maybe a win, an MVP if she can finish the job, and she is now through 5 innings scoreless. She went the distance in her debut, and she's looking to do it again. Rollover inning points on the line after 3 straight scoreless innings. Top of the 6th we go. Let's go into the game now with the U.S. Air Force and Sierra Romero.
I'm curious, am I like, so I'm like right now, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go here instead of being like slight step. So that's what I did. And then I'm like, are my hands lagging? Like, am I trying to go, but they're staying? Did you watch my last at bat? I was just wondering, because I wanted to know if you saw my hands. Ooh, I'm trying so hard. I'm like, everything feels so good. That's what's so annoying. It's like slow-mo, it feels like.
Someone's in trouble. They weren't watching her last at bat, I don't think, when she was asking about the hands. She was looking for a better answer than what she got. She looked disappointed.
But look at that, just detailed, specific, analytical conversation that Sierra Romero is having with her teammates about her swing, about hitting in general. Love to be a fly on the wall in all of these dugouts.
First pitch swinging from McClenny, and there is 1 out, and that's Haley McClenny going for her 100th career hit. She sits at 99 right now in her Athletes Unlimited career, and it'll take at least 1 more at bat to get to that number. Vic Hayward stays busy in left field. She's made a play in 4 of the 6 innings so far. Faremo starts Sierra Romero off on the inside corner. Well, let's see if the hands get through this time.
It's hard to get through on that pitch location that Faremo threw to dot up that inside corner.
Popped up to Flippen. 3 pitches, 2 outs. All right, I'm curious, on the other side of this, if you're Lexi Kilfoyle, obviously you would love insurance, but is there a certain level of like comfort and momentum to get back out there quicker?
I think when it's 1-0 like this and you're throwing against some of the best hitters in the world, you'd love some more run support.
Okay.
You know, sometimes I say, yeah, I want to get back out there pretty quick, but I think in this situation with how closely contested this game is, I think that you'd love at least 1 extra run to give you a 2-run cushion. Love this pitcher's duel, though. I mean, Kilfoyle and Faremo just going at it. And Faremo being able to establish both sides of the plate. You saw her go into Sierra Romero Now you see her work away from Taylor Edwards.
It's going to get out of play, strike 2. Well, we had Faremo Denham on opening day. We thought that would be a pitcher's duel. It ended 1-0. We had Faremo Kilfoyle today. We thought that would be a pitcher's duel. It is currently 1-0. Megan Faremo has got to be shaking her head right now, like, what do I have to do?
Well, look at her pitch count, 70 pitches, and we're in the top of the 6th inning. Both of these pitchers just attacking the strike zone, going right at these hitters, and I'll tell you what, just looking so confident early on in the season.
Got Edwards swinging. 8-pitch inning for Faremo. The second lowest total of the game for her. She had just 6 in the first inning. Pitcher's duel continues.
I'm Senior Master Sergeant Michael Crane, a Public Affairs Specialist. The Air National Guard's motto is always ready, always there. We're proud to partner with Athletes Unlimited players who are always ready to compete for the top spot. Now let's find out who climbed their way to the leaderboard rankings to earn the title Air National Guard Mover of the Week.
And that Mover of the Week is Jessie Warren, who got off to a slow start Friday as far as the leaderboard goes, but has rose 36 spots since that point.
Yeah, went 2 for 4 yesterday, had 3 RBIs, had a great game yesterday. She's a mover.
A little bit of a slow start for her defensively, which has been surprising, but we talked to her on Friday about it. She retired one of her gloves that she'd been using for a long time at AUX. She's currently trying to get another one broken in, but I think there's kind of a bridge glove currently. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that as the series go on if we see a change of glove for Warren, who's won 3 straight defensive MVPs between the championship season and AUX. Watches the first pitch inside to Kilfoyle. We talked so much about how good Lexi Kilfoyle has been, but it's 3-4-5 coming up now for Team Svekis. At the plate, what would you be telling this lineup adjustment-wise as Warren slowly grounds out?
Both of our starting pitchers have done their jobs, thrown a lot of strikes, have thrown about the same number of pitches too. Just really comparable lines when you look at the hits that they've given up, the runs that they've given up, walks. I mean, look at how even these numbers are.
Really just no big swings in the game. Like we told you at the beginning, has been the decider in a number of our games, has been the long ball. We haven't seen a lot of them, but they've been timely. And in this, it's just been a lot of smaller hits. All about the pitchers. How do you get to Kilfoyle? What's the secret?
Trying to get to the bottom of the ball. I guarantee you that's what these hitters are trying to do, is not hit the top half of it, but like that's a nice swing right there. But trying to hit the bottom half of the ball where you're thinking about where you normally swing and you're aiming just a little bit lower, maybe staying your legs a little bit more. That drop ball, that heavy drop ball is just so tough to get to.
Oh, 2. That was really moving, but down low for ball 1.
Yeah, then you mix in that changeup too, and it's even harder to deal with everything that she's throwing at you.
One-two count. Urtez staying alive. Let's go down and check in with Savannah for more on Team Svekis.
Coming into today, this blue squad had 2 goals. The first, for defense, let's get the first out of every inning. They've done that almost every single inning with a fly out, a ground out, making a play, except for the third with Kelsey Stewart's Hunter single. And then on offense, it was let's be more disciplined at the plate. But as we're closing in near the end of this game, Amanda, you asked what would you be telling these hitters coming straight from Gwen Svekis? Scratch, claw, push, and poke for 1 run. Let's get this done on offense and try and pass the bat like we did yesterday.
Everybody in the starting lineup got a hit for them in yesterday's game, where they had a lot of confidence offensively coming into this game because of the production that they got 1 through 9 yesterday when they scored those 8 runs and their 8-4 win.
so much on the line for these two teams because they've both been swept this weekend of the points, and both have happened at the hands of Team Denham. There's currently 40-inning win points on the line, and then, of course, the game is there for the taking, too. The leaderboard could look a lot different at the conclusion of this first game. We have one more game today before we'll know our Week 2 captains. That draft is tomorrow. Ortez really battling right now. We've not had a lot of overly long at-bats in this game.
And just as a side note, if you're watching this game and you're hearing that constant like chatter in the stands, it's these little clappers that all the fans have, so it's not static on your screen. Nothing's wrong with your TV. That is just the clappers that all these little fans have in the stands to make some noise, but it's a constant. You can hear it all the time. There's one not being used, but just being held at the moment.
Do you prefer that one?
I do prefer that one.
Used.
It's not worse, though, than like the Mississippi State cowbells that you hear all the time. That might be the worst.
Oh, my goodness. That SEC shots fired here from the Aggie in the booth.
Oh, I don't think that's just
Amanda Scarborough.
That's not just an Aggie thing. That is anybody you play or even watch the game or work the game. I've heard horror stories from ESPN friends. Woo! You're scarred.
Line drive for Davidson to take care of. Now 2 away here for Kilfoyle. She is 4 outs away from back-to-back complete games to begin her season. Palacios swinging first pitch, strike 1.
Well, this is pretty cool, Chucky. So Lexi Kilfoyle wears number 61, okay? Her grandpa went to high school with Roger Maris, who wore number 9. But Roger Maris hit 61 home runs in 1961, who broke the home run record. Her brother wore number 61 throughout his baseball playing career. So she likes to wear numbers that run in the family, and 61 is one that meant the most to her and her family. So that's why she is wearing it here, but ties to Roger Maris, who her grandpa went to high school with.
Certainly doing the family proud, and Romero helping her out, going to her left. Another 1, 2, 3 for Lexi Kilfoyle. Absolutely dealing. This rookie, one of the best there is. Athletes Unlimited Pro Softball is sponsored by the U.S. Air Force. I think that first picture, that was from day one. Kelsey Harshman was the hero. She didn't actually get to participate in the team picture because we were interviewing her at the time. She was very, very disappointed. So we hope Kelsey gets to be in on some of those this year. But how about this, Amanda? 50 rollover points on the line, plus the game, which is worth 50. So there's 100 points up for grabs here over the next inning.
Oh, boy.
This is not how you want to end a week. You got to sit on this until Friday. If you're on the wrong side of this, you'll get a new team tomorrow. They'll practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then Series 2 kicks off on Friday. Wiz swinging first pitch. That's foul for strike 1. 8 straight retired for Megan Faremo. She has allowed 2 runs this season. The one today was unearned, and she could potentially move to 0-2. Look at that pitch.
Woo! It's a changeup. That's how she ended the top of the 6th inning, striking out Taylor Edwards on a changeup that was looking like that. Got the swing through. Remember, too, we were talking about Kayla Beaver, the rookie pitcher coming from Alabama in her first season with AU. We saw her pitch yesterday. Remember, talked about how she was on the right side of the pitching rubber and how Megan Faremo is on the left side of the pitching rubber. Left justified is what we talked about, and Kayla Beaver right justified. Both coming from the right-hand side, but 2 very different places that they start. And look at how far left Megan Faremo starts. Change up again. I feel like, too, when you start that far left, it makes her screwball come even harder in at an angle to the right-handed hitters. And Charity throws with such good velocity, so it gets up and in on their hands. And hard to get their barrels to, and then makes it easier for her to spot that curveball outside.
Oh, wow, what a swing from Wiz. Extra bases for Delaney. Back-to-back doubles for her today. That's 40 stat points. That's ridiculous swing right there.
It is, too, especially considering that in her last at-bat, she hit a double off of a curveball. Now she hits a double off of a rise ball up and in on her hands. Her curveball double went down the right field line. Her rise ball double goes down the left field line. So spraying the ball all over the field, using the entire field, 73 miles an hour off of the bat for Delaney Wiz. Remember, that's an old teammate that she's sitting off of with Megan Faraimo in the circle.
Claire Davidson, she's been clutch already this weekend. Could be a key insurance run here for Team Romero with no one out. Davidson lays off.
Called timeout, trying to get on the same page here with all these points on the line. Every pitch is going to be critical. Can't believe that it's been such a pitcher's duel, and the only run scored up to this point has been an unearned run scored on an error. That's how good the pitchers have been. Remember, nobody has no two back-to-back batters have reached in any inning against either of these pitchers.
That's hard hit. That gets through into right field. Sis Bates coming on, and Carasoni will hold Wiz. Probably a wise choice with nobody out. And now first and third.
Right fielder, number 86, Mackenzie Clark.
Claire Davidson able to turn on this pitch and find a hole, and good job by Sis Bates out there in right field getting some action. And then Emily Carasoni, the facilitator, last-minute hold, throwing at the stop sign to Delaney Wiz, trying to pass the bat, not get thrown out at home, and extend this inning.
Strike one to Mackenzie Clark, who is in the box for her first time today. The first time all day back-to-back batters have reached base. It's in there for strike two. This is a massive at-bat. Davidson has stayed put at first base. Clark goes down on 3 pitches. Faraimo had to have that.
It's a bit of a disadvantage for Team Romero because you put in a hitter who's super talented in Mackenzie Clark, but it's a hitter who hasn't faced Megan Faraimo yet in this game. So Faraimo attacks her, goes at her with her best stuff, strikeout with a runner at third base. An important first out for Faraimo to give her some momentum back and pull it back on her side in this inning.
Maybe the first time she's ever faced her. That gets the inside corner to Caroline Jacobson, who's 0 for 2. Bottom of the order trying to come through with the insurance runs for Team Romero.
Well, and think about it too, Chucky, was Rachel Garcia's spot that Mackenzie Clark was hitting in, and Rachel Garcia is super familiar with hitting off of Faraimo, like Delaney Wiz, who got a hit in this inning. Instead, you have somebody hitting who hasn't necessarily faced Faraimo, so a big change because of that substitution that you have in this inning with a runner at third base.
0-2. Fouled straight back, just a piece of it from Jacobson. She's from Tallahassee, Florida. Started her college career at Duke, where she spent 4 years. Finished with a year at Clemson. Goes down swinging. Back-to-back Ks for Faraimo.
The first baseman,
Man, this is so big time. 3 out of the 5 strikeouts that Megan Faraimo has in this game have come with runners in scoring position. She steps up when the game is on the line. She doesn't show a ton of emotion all the time, but she picks her moments, and that definitely is a moment with back-to-back Ks in this inning.
Now Stuart Hunter. She has a base hit off of Megan Faraimo. in the third. She was robbed of another base hit by Victoria Hayward, so she's had some success off of the right-hander so far in this game. Stuart Hunter, longtime veteran, played with Team USA from 2014 to 2021. She won silver in Tokyo, back-to-back national champion at Florida in 14 and 15. Former SEC Player of the Year as the rain starts to come down here in Rosemont. Actually, quite a few blue skies around us, but we're starting to see some precipitation that goes, oh no! Warren got a glove on it. And the insurance run comes across. Urtez was there.
Kelsey Stuart Hunter giving it 2 thumbs up because it goes her way, but man, Anissa Urtez was right there. Hits off of Jessie Warren's glove. She goes for it, but Urtez would have easily made that third out. That is actually going to go down as a single for Kelsey Stuart Hunter. Could have easily been an error, though, on Jessie Warren.
Urtez tried to react to it. It was just too high for her. That could be a big run. Now Sydney Romero, they throw down to second, not in time. Davidson at second now. Stuart Hunter at first, 2 away. Wow, that's a tough break. Faremo just has had no luck this opening weekend, as good as she's been. This is hit well into left field, deep toward the wall and off the top of the wall. Another run scores. Romero has a double. The captain comes through.
A little rally in this inning, and Sydney Romero so quick to that inside corner. I'm not sure if she thought it's going to stay fair, or maybe she thought it was going to get out of here. It for sure had a chance. It's the top of the wall. She gets most of that. I mean, she hit that about 209 feet. It's 210 to the fence. Can't hit it much further than that without getting a home run.
Didn't think McClenny would get another chance for number 100 in this game, but she will come back to the plate here in the 7th. Hits the 0-1. There it is. Number 100 is going to clear the bases. A double for McClenny. 2 more come across, and Team Romero in firm control of this game.
Congratulations to Haley McClenny. She just collected her 100th Athletes Unlimited.
You could hear the announcer say it. I wanted to let you guys hear it the way that we're hearing it, and that's what that round of applause was for. Getting such a good round of applause from these fans here today with their clappers. It's totally acceptable to do it for hit number 100 for Haley McClenny. She joins a really great group.
Vidalis, Zirkle, Hayward. What a moment for McClenny, too, in her final season. She's going to have some of those moments. I just wonder what's going through her mind right now. It's got to be really difficult to stay in the moment. You're still playing the games. There's still a lot of ball to be played for her, but knowing that you're a month away from not suiting up again. Gets away. McClenny's going to take third.
So much credit to Delaney Wiz and Claire Davidson starting out this inning. Putting together back-to-back hits. It had not happened all game long against either pitcher, and now it's happened multiple times in this inning alone off of Faremo. He's thrown so well.
Yeah, that Wiz swing, going up and getting that pitch. Tone setter.
And a bit of bad luck, too, with the Kelsey Stuart Hunter single that could have been out of this inning.
Could have been out of it with nothing. Now Romero lays into one. That's going to go to the wall. And Sierra, just like Sydney, has herself a double. That is 3 straight doubles, 4 in the inning, 6 hits in this inning.
I think this 4th at bat, the 3rd at bats are just helping out Team Romero and their experience. They're getting to these pitches a lot easier. Their hands are looking more free through their swings. They're not getting jammed as much, and Framo missing more up, and they're attacking it. Maybe velocity has gone down a little bit too from the first innings. Man, take out this inning, and Megan Framo just threw an absolute gem. 5 innings, though, or excuse me, 5 runs scored for Team Romero in this inning.
5 for 6 with runners in scoring position this inning. You said it's so close to getting out of it. The back-to-back strikeouts, and then the Kelsey Stewart-Hunter kind of bloop on the infield, just awkward. It'll be Sandercock replacing Framo in just a moment. Back the 5-6 hole was tough for Team Svekis in this inning. Just kind of an awkward play, Amanda, more than anything.
Yeah, this is the play. They could have easily gotten out of it with no run scored, but it hits off of Jessie Warren's glove, and Ortez can't make a play on it, but she was there. Not sure if, it's hard to tell if Ortez was calling it or communicating with Jessie Warren on that left side, but 5 runs have scored after back-to-back strikeouts. It was that hit. They could have been out of the inning, but 5 runs have scored since with 2 outs.
And now there is a very good chance that Team Svekis will have been swept of the points as this bloops into left field. They'll hold Romero at third, now first and third with 2 outs. Edwards' first base hit of the game. That was right in front of her fiance, Gwen Svekis, calling the pitches behind the plate. This is in the right center field, hit pretty good, but it's going to be ran down by Sis Bates, getting some action out there and right. 2 for 2 in the outfield. Big inning, though, for Team Romero. 5 runs coming across. Inning win points on the line, but Team Romero have all but wrapped that up with Lexi Kilfoyle in the circle and 5 runs in the 7th. They're looking for a 120-point sweep here. Kilfoyle looking for a complete game shutout. She wasn't satisfied with the complete game 1-run outing in her debut, so she's going to try and one-up that here and get the next 3 outs.
I mean, in the first 2 games of her rookie first weekend, she has thrown 13 innings, only given up 1 run, 2 walks, and then 8 strikeouts. But the 10 hits that she's given up have all been singles.
First pitch to Gwen Svekis is inside. Captain trying to give her team a chance, get something going here. That misses up top. Only 8 shutouts all of last season. Now you're looking at potentially 2 in the opening weekend, which doesn't put you way ahead of pace, but definitely on a better pace than last year for the pitchers. Kilfoyle currently in second, or excuse me, in 4th place, but could jump into 3rd with the 3 outs in this inning alone. And then with the MVP points, she's MVP 1, right, for you?
Yes.
That'd be worth 60. Still going to get 100 for the win if they hold on here. She's going to be number 1 on the leaderboard. Svekis grounds out. Stewart-Hunter had to scoop that up off the turf, 1 away.
Whew, good pick by Kelsey over there at first. Last thing you want here is to give them any energy, any momentum in this last inning, like committing an error and letting that leadoff get on.
Sis Bates now with 1 away, has a single in the game. Up the middle, Kilfoyle. Nope, not going to happen.
That's 3 this weekend, right? Am I missing one? At least 3. I wasn't here on Friday calling the games. I watched them, but I don't recall any of the other ones. But look what I found, the 3rd right back up the middle of the field to these pitchers who are able to field their position, react, and get their glove right where that line drive comes back at.
I don't even think she threw it around. I think she just kept it. Back to work. Off speed, hit into center field. McClenny on it. Wow, what a performance from Lexi Kilfoyle. Goes the distance, the complete game shutout for the rookie. 14 innings, 1 run allowed for her in 2 career professional appearances.
That shutout and just threw 89 pitches. Wow, what a start for Lexi Kilfoyle. Got some run support late in this game, but kept her team in it when it was close. It was 1-0 for a long time. A lot of pressure on her, but great outing for her.
120 win points collected. The sweep from Team Romero, who goes 2-1 on the weekend. We'll step away and come back. Team Romero over Team Svekis. They sweep the win points, 120 for them. The complete game shutout from Lexi Kilfoyle. Tremendous job, and their captain, Sydney Romero, is on the field with Savannah Collins.
For a captain debut, going 2-1, putting together great games. What was the key for this team who game to game just came out, was competitive, and then was able to put together quite a few wins?
Yes, I mean, I know pitching is super important, and I knew Lexi coming in was obviously really good, and I didn't know I was going to be captain until I got here, so I mean, from the start, I was like, I'm picking Lexi. Like, no doubt, heavy drop ball, really good, competitor, can beat the best teams in the nation, and she did that. And I think the team did great this weekend with putting together runs and collecting hits, and overall just did really good.
Yeah, you kind of look like a genius thinking back to the draft on Monday, taking Lexi with your first pick when so few people had seen her. And you told me, I feel like I know a secret nobody else does. We've all seen it, 14 innings, 1 run given up. You've played at this pro level. What does it take for a pitcher to be that effective game after game?
Yeah, I think Lexi she plays like a veteran, and I mean, I used my coaching brain a little bit. I was like, people haven't seen Lexi. I saw her in the scrimmages, and I don't want to face that. She's really, really good and a competitor, and I knew going into it, people were going to have a hard time adjusting to her, and I mean, she showed that this whole weekend, and I'm just really proud of her. She played like a vet, and she held us that whole time. We only gave her 1 run up until the last inning, so she did a great job, and I'm super proud of her.
You told me going into this week, settle was the theme of this team. We heard it from your sister when she was mic'd up. She said, Sid just keeps it simple, and we appreciate it. Why does that work, and how did that really set the tone for week 1 as you can continue to cruise on through this season?
The first person I think of is Coach Lombardi, and I'm shouting her out here because the first thing she always talks about is you can't really be anything until you settle, and that's something I just wanted to relay to my group, is just settling. And I think the more you can settle in, especially in this environment where there's points and there's just a lot on the line, the earlier you can settle, the better you're going to be as just a person and a player. And that was my advice to them this week, is to serve them in that way and to just help them settle.
Well, we could see it in the dugout. Thanks, Sid. Congrats on the win and closing out the week on top.
Thank you.
Chucky, back to you.
Thanks, Savannah. Lexi Kilfoyle, complete game shutout, Amanda. Wow, really, really good.
Yeah, drop ball working as per the usual for Lexi Kilfoyle. All of her strikeouts came on that drop ball in the outside corner, had these hitters chasing off the plate, down in the zone, went at them when she needed to come more on the plate, fielded her position well with that line drive right back up the middle.
We've got Lexi Kilfoyle joining us for a chair chat, and you have acclimated to the pro game. You're comfortable over there on the fence right now?
I am comfortable. I'm as comfortable as I've been all day.
What's going on? I mean, you just look so relaxed in the circle right now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel amazing out there. Body feels great, and honestly, coming into this week, I was just so excited to be a part of this team because there's so many big faces and so many great players. So I knew that if I put up O's, that they're going to get the job done, and they did today.
Lexi, you ended your season at the World Series after a long season at Oklahoma State, a great season for you too. How did you get your body in the right place and your mind in the right place to enter into the season to start out the way that you have?
Yeah, just keeping my routines and keeping my habits. I think that was, as you get older, that's the stuff off the field is what counts. So taking care of my body, eating the right foods, eating a lot of steak, a lot of chicken, so getting a lot of protein in, and just taking care of my body in the training room, yeah.
What did you feel like pitch-wise? Like, take me in, speak pitcher to pitcher, was working for you today?
Yeah, obviously my drop ball. I think my drop ball has always been my go-to, and honestly, we didn't even mix that much today. I think me and Taylor were on the same page. Like, if they're not hitting the drop ball, let's just keep hammering it, and it worked wonderfully today. So shout out to Taylor for throwing an amazing game.
Lexi, I don't know if you've thought about it at all, but it's still another game to be played. We'll see, but there's a good chance you're going to draft your own team for the first time. Has that thought gone through your mind of any strategy yet?
Honestly, no. I think I'm just going to take it day by day, and I'll figure it out when it happens.
And what will it be like for the rest of the week? How are you going to prep for next weekend, whether you are captain or not captain? What do you think the rest of your week looks like?
The way it's looked the past 6 months at college too, like doing my daily routines, same bullpens every week, same like working on stuff that wasn't working, and just getting to know my team. I think right now with meeting so many new players, I need to build those relationships and build relationships with those infielders and stuff. So really get to know everyone and just play my brand of ball.
Lexi, great stuff. Congratulations on a fantastic start to your career.
Thank you so much.
It's Lexi Kilfoyle, complete game shutout after a complete game, 1-run outing in her debut on Friday. And, well, if she's not a captain, I think she's going to be first pick in the draft as she was in week 1. But here it is so far, and this is without MVP points yet. So she probably is going to get 60 more. She'll be the first player to top 500 on the year. And then McQuillan, Lorenz, Harshman, we'll see all them in game 2 today.
Yeah, I can't wait for this game 2 coming up. It'll come down to game 2 to see who will be the 4 captains coming up this weekend or after this weekend for this next week. It's going to be a great game.
Cannot wait and see how this season unfolds. Still one more game to be played. Team Alexander and Team Denham coming up next as they'll get set to go head-to-head. Alyssa Denham trying to go 3-0 and take all the win points, Amanda. That'd be really impressive.
That would be impressive. That team can pitch, that's for sure. Alyssa Denham knows how to win in this championship season, and she has just been on an absolute roll. So we saw a pitcher's duel for most of the game today, and I have a feeling that we might see another pitcher's duel in the next game, maybe.
We'll see Alyssa Denham. We'll see Odyssey Alexander in game 2 today, but what a start we've had. Lexi Kilfoyle has been the star of the season so far. We are just a week into this thing. Still a month left. Team Romero 6-0 in the first game of our doubleheader over Team Svekis. For Aaron Angel, Casey Carter, Amanda Scarborough, Savannah Collins, Rob Geese, and our entire crew, I'm Chucky Kempf. See you later.